Welcome to our show, Word This Week. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a special guest, Captain S.R. Patnaik. He is one of the best known names in the industry. He is one of the most respected names in our industry. Welcome to our show, Captain Patnaik.
Thank you, Captain Mishra. Thank you for connecting with you after some time. It's great to again interact with you, and after our last show when we did, I think a couple of years back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, just a small request. Today in the audience, we have not only the stakeholders of the industry, but also many students of this industry and many management trainees also. And we have questions from them also. And our focus today is going to be Persian Gulf and the Red Sea area. Sir, could you please, to begin with, tell us some of the main trading ports?
Well, Captain Mishra, as you know, Persian Gulf is one of the most active maritime regions in this part of the world, and the major countries which are there in this area are United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Kuwait, Iran and Iraq in the Persian Gulf. Then just outside the Persian Gulf, in the Gulf of Oman, you have got Oman and Yemen, and then in the Red Sea you have got Sudan, Jordan, Egypt, Djibouti, Somalia and Eritrea. As you know, all countries in Persian Gulf and Red Sea have access to sea, and they have seaports. All of them, they have seaports, and they're quite active in maritime trade. Of these countries, few countries, they have trade embargoes and geopolitical unrest, which are like Iran, Qatar, Yemen, Iraq and Somalia. But the most active countries which are doing very active dry bulk trade are UAE, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Oman in the Persian Gulf, and Egypt and Jordan in Red Sea.
So what are the cargoes traded in these areas, sir?
Yeah, I will go country by country because each country, as you know, is specialized in certain kind of trade. Let me start with UAE. UAE, the major dry bulk cargo port in UAE is Menasakar and Jebel Ali. Jebel Ali is the biggest man-made port in the world with facilities for handling dry cargo, container and liquid cargo. Major dry bulk cargoes include import of grain and sugar. The facilities that is there in UAE are dry docking, passenger free zones, etc. Dubai dry dock is one of the largest dry dock in the Middle East and Indian subcontinent. Fujairah is one of the busiest and largest bunkering port in the world. Major cargoes include export of aggregates, gabbro and cement. Menasakar is the busiest dry cargo port in UAE with a maximum draft of 18 meters. It can handle up to Panamax and even baby capes. Major export cargoes are limestone and aggregate. About 35 million tons of limestone and aggregates are handled there, and coal imports of almost 2 million tons. So if you see the exports are aggregate and limestone about 40 million tons, sulfur, urea about 4.6 million tons, cement and clinker about 5 million tons, iron ore concentrates about 500,000 tons. Imports are alumina, which is about 7 million tons, grain about 6 million tons, sugar about 3.6 million tons, coal 2.5 million tons, pet coke about 1 million ton, and slag 0.65 million tons. That's about UAE. We go to Saudi Arabia, which is again the major dry bulk cargo port are Dammam, Jubail, and Ras Al Khair, which is north of Jubail. Saudi Arabia is the only country which has ports both in the Red Sea and Persian Gulf. Dammam, with a maximum draft of 14 meters, is the main grain importing port of Saudi Arabia. Jubail, with a maximum draft of 13 meters, is the main urea and sulfur exporting port. Ras Al Khair has a maximum draft of 16 meters and is the main exporting port for DAP. So the main imports again to Saudi Arabia are grain, which is about 7.5 million tons, iron ore about 7 million tons, barite about 0.1 million ton, and exports are urea about 4 million ton, sulfur about 3.5, pet coke about 2.8 million tons, DAP 3 million tons, and steel about 500,000 ton. So that's about Saudi Arabia. Qatar, which is again a major dry bulk ports are Mesaid, Ras Laffan and Doha. Mesaid port has a draft of 12.5 meters, is one of the busiest port due to imports of construction raw material like aggregates. Major import commodity is again aggregate. Mesaid port is now in the south corridor of the state of Qatar and for the Mesaid industrial city. Ras Laffan port has 12.5 meters draft and is a major export port for sulfur cargo. Doha has is one of the shallowest draft port in Qatar, which has draft 8.5 meters. Exports are again urea 4.25 million tons, sulfur 3 million ton, and DRI and HBI 500,000 ton. Imports are aggregate 16 million tons, limestone 1.5 million ton, alumina 1 million ton, coal about 1 million ton, slag 500,000 ton, iron ore 0.4 million ton, and clinker about 500,000 ton. That's about Qatar. Then comes Kuwait. Kuwait again is the major dry bulk cargo ports are Shuaibah and Suez. Shuaibah has a draft of 12 meters, and after Mesaid it imports maximum aggregate in the Persian Gulf region. Suez has a maximum draft of 9.6 meters at high tide. Suez port is mainly used for small parcels of grain and general cargo. So exports are primarily again urea, sulfur, and pet coke, and imports are aggregates, cement, limestone, grain, and pig iron. That's about Kuwait. If you come to Bahrain, Bahrain is, I think, the trade is not so much as compared to other countries in the Middle East. So the major ports are Sitra and Mina Salman, and the exports are primarily iron ore pellets, sulfur, and urea, and imports are iron ore about 3 million tons, alumina about 2 million tons, and pet coke about 500,000 tons. If you see most of these ports, because they are rich in natural gas, they make a lot of aluminium ingots from alumina. So you see all these ports, they import a lot of alumina, and also because of natural gas they make urea, so they export a lot of urea. So you see these two are the major commodities that are handled in most of the ports. Iran is again a very rich country, commodity wise. It's a very rich country. Unfortunately, it has gone into this kind of trade embargo, but this country is, I think, one of the most active countries in this area with respect to commodities. And the major, again, import is grain, which is about 4 to 5 million tons. And the export of iron ore, which is about 15 million tons, is the major commodity that is exported in this area is about iron ore, which is 15 million tons. Urea is 2 to 3 million tons, sulfur about 3 million tons, gypsum 2 million tons, and clinker 4 million tons. So that's about Iran. Coming back to Red Sea, Jordan is again the most active country, and the ports there is Aqaba, which is got a draft of 14 meters. The major export again is fertilizer, 4 to 5 million tons, which is mainly rock phosphate, and imports are grain, 2.6 million tons, sulfur about 1 million ton, and export, as I said, is potash and phosphate about 3 million tons. So that's about Jordan. Then Egypt is again major ports are Adabia, Safaga, and Sukna. There again the major imports, if you see, are coal and grain. Exports are rock phosphate, clinker, dolomite, cement. Safaga again same, coal, grain are the main imports, and exports are rock phosphate. And Sukna again, it's got a draft of 17 meters, which can handle up to Panamax and Cape size also. And main imports are again coal, which is 1.5 million tons, and iron ore about 1.5 million tons. So these are the main cargo profile and countries in this area. I hope I could sort of cover up most of the ports and the commodities.
Thank you so much, sir. It is absolutely informative. Sir, linked to this, there is a question like, what are the challenges for the owners who are trading in these areas?
Yeah, as you know, this area, of course, it started with.
This question actually has come from some of the ship owners from India.
Yes. Now, I'll just sort of go point by point about the challenges. So you see, currently because of this Iran threat that was there a year and two back, you have now additional war risk premium owners will have to pay moment they enter into Gulf of Persian Gulf, and that's about average about $25,000 to $50,000 per transit, and that includes the stay also. So which is calculated basis duration of stay and the value of the hull and machinery. It's about 0.2% of the H&M value. Also, you've got piracy related extra cost. That's about $15,000 to $20,000 per transit. So that is for west of 65-degree longitude, you have to pay for piracy. That's called the high risk area, HRA, and you have to pay piracy related cost for that. There's a trade embargo, as you know, between UAE and Qatar. It started about, say, 5 years back, and that still continues. So there is no direct sea transportation between these two countries. Ships which have called Iran have got huge restriction in trading. So most charters nowadays, they ask whether the ships have called Iran in past 3 months or 6 months or 9 months. So ships which have called Iran, their trading flexibility reduces substantially. And another challenge is that barring Jeddah in Red Sea and Fujairah in Middle East, you don't have many bunkering ports. So the ships which are opening inside Persian Gulf or Red Sea have very little choice about bunkering. And as you know, there's a complete trade embargo in Iran, so the entire cargo volume is not accessible to most owners, barring very few owners who are Iran callers. Most of the owners cannot trade Iran, so the entire chunk of cargo volume is out of the market. Again, Yemen, Iraq, they have got geopolitical unrest, war-like situation. Again, trading there is restricted, and most of these ports are also restricted with draft. So the maximum size that most of the ports they can accommodate is up to 60,000 tons, barring few ports, as I said, Mina Sakar or in Red Sea, 1 or 2 ports which can handle Panamax, but most ports can handle easily Handymax up to Supramax. That's the size restriction.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Sir, what about the current economic challenges due to the COVID-19? We see that it has really impacted the business everywhere. So what is the impact in this region?
As you know, UAE is Middle East per se. GCC economy is primarily oil dependent economy. And it is expected that the economy is going to contract by 4.1% in 2020 because of COVID. COVID-19 is the recession is one of the deepest post 1930s, the severe recession that the entire world had faced. So after that, I think this is the deepest recession that we are facing, and we are going to have more repercussions going ahead. So UAE is no exception, or Middle East is no exception to that. So World Bank predicts that UAE economy is going to contract by 4.5% because of COVID. The economy may recover next year and grow by 1.4%, and the oil exporting nations will bounce back with a 2.2% growth next year. So that's the kind of prediction that we have for the economy in this part of the world.
Right, sir. So anything to do with anything more you would like to add, sir, about the markets, or you have already started with the economic outlook for the region, but anything to do with the market, sir, would you like to give us something? How was this week?
As you know that currently the demand side is there's a dip in the demand, global demand, and the supply side is higher than the demand. As a result, the markets are depressed overall, and there is a momentary sort of spike in the market currently because of the ending of the quarter, that is June. Spike is there. Generally, end of the quarter you have a spike in the market. You see a spike in the market now, but overall I think the market sentiments are not looking good going ahead, and till the time that you see people start traveling around, meeting customers, the trade picks up fully, you'll have the shipping market not doing good as it was in the previous years. So we expect the entire year to be not to be so good with respect to the demand scenario, and you have quite a few deliveries that are expected to come in this year, so that should keep the market under stress.
Sir, thank you very much, and we wish you a very nice weekend ahead, and thank you very much for giving us this time, sir.
Thank you so much, Capt.
Have a great weekend ahead, sir.
It was a pleasure talking to you, and I hope that your viewers like this interview. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.